Oh, all right. Looks like we only have 2 people on, but all right. Looks like we have good mic sound. Everything's good. We'll give it like 5 minutes. We'll give it like 5 minutes here. I hope everybody's having a great Christmas today. Christmas Eve, anyways. We just had family over. So mom and dad came over. I should have wore it. I got a Costco hat with the gift card that I got, which is pretty badass. I didn't even know that Costco made hats. So a brand name Costco hat. Got a little Costco merch. That was pretty badass. And I got, of course, you know, when you're an adult, like the little shit counts, right? So I would say the cooler gift that I got was this flannel that I got from my mom and dad. Little warm weather flannel. It was pretty cool. So there's that. Hope everybody can hear me. Oh, I do got to do one thing. Oh, there we go. All right. I had to grab a. All right. Now we're good to go. Okay. Merry Christmas, everybody. Merry Christmas Eve. Hope everybody's having a great time with their family. God bless you guys. It's great to be here tonight. And let's get rolling. Let's get rolling. So first things first, ice conditions out on the pond. You know, so if you guys didn't know already, I'm working up at Garrison Sports this winter. I'll be there mainly on the weekends. So Saturdays, Sundays, maybe some Fridays here and there. I'll be in there scooping bait, working inside the shop, selling day passes, bait, all that good stuff. So if you guys want to swing through, say what's up. One thing that I can tell you guys, if you're a bass head, I know I said it in like all the other live streams, which is, guys, if you're a fan of Northland Tackle, Wayne's got a bunch of stuff that's discounted in there, 50% off. We're talking crankbaits, Bagley crankbaits, Bill C. Lewis crankbaits, the Northland mullet or Minnesota mullet or whatever it is. I'm not really sure what kind or what the name is. I can't remember. Is it the Minnesota mullet? Maybe it is. Anyways, he's got a bunch of those, 50% off. Really good colors too. I'd probably actually use them. I actually probably might buy a few myself. So I've never thrown a Minnesota mullet. So comment down below if you have, because comment down below if you have. And hey, I will be doing a live show on the ice. It's going to be soon. Don't worry. We had some technical difficulties last time we were out, and if I do get a chance today, I'll tell you guys the story, because it is kind of, I would say it's entertaining to say the least. I didn't really have very much fun. I used to be a hardcore ice fisherman, gave it up a while back, for good reasons too. I think that for me personally, I think I almost died several times being out on the water, man. So, um, definitely, definitely not my favorite thing to do. But yeah, let's talk ice conditions. So right now, what we're seeing out there, at least on the west side, is really inconsistent ice. So I'd say anywhere from 8 to 15 inches of ice is what we've been seeing. With that being said, we're letting four-wheelers, ATVs, side-by-sides, just smaller stuff, snowmobiles. Wayne's got a bridge out. And if you guys if you look at Garrison Reef and you went up to where it gets skinny and then it just starts to get bigger, there's a crack going right across it. And I'm pretty sure they put a bridge across it, but they've been having issues with it. So hopefully they're able to get that all dialed in for the weekend for you guys when you guys come up here and fish. Pretty much what we've been seeing. Sorry, let me backtrack a little bit. We will be putting out day houses, it sounds like, too, this weekend. So if you guys are coming up, you guys want to get out on the day houses and do a day of fishing, definitely hit up Wayne. Those should be out. And then it's looking like some people got a little sneaky to the Castaway people, man, because the Castaway guys are saying that people snuck out. They've been sneaking out half tons. Not a good idea. Not a good idea. If they're telling you do not take a half ton out, don't do it, dude. Do not do it. Not a good idea. It's a good way to put your truck into the lake. Take it from me. I did it with no ice on the water. I didn't even need ice on the water to put my truck in, fellas. I put it in just with it being open. Don't be that guy. Don't be the guy to put your truck in. Now, if you're from the Brainerd Lakes area, I'm from Brainerd. There was a kid that was, I think he's my age or close to, that put his truck in. And I've seen a lot of shit talking going around online. And the first thing I'll say, I don't even like that kid. I've never liked that kid, but I will defend him in the idea that that could happen to any of us. That's not out of bounds for anybody that ice fishes. We all think that we know the lake so good, and we all think that we know what we're doing and all that good stuff. And you think that until you don't, which means that you can have bad luck. Trust me, it happens to everybody. It's going to happen to everybody. Maybe not everybody, but it's going to happen to somebody eventually, right? Eventually it's going to happen. So I try to defend him a little bit and say, hey, that could have been any of us. Any of us could have made that mistake. It sounds like he went out, they were checking holes as they were going. And unfortunately he parked over the spring, dropped his truck through. If you guys want to see, I did post some of that footage over on my YouTube channel for shorts. So it is in the short form clip thing. I posted a video of it. It's kind of interesting, man. Like, that's never going to stop. And to be honest, it'd be one of my uncle's nephews, who I do not know. He died last year and he was only like 17 or 18 years old. He passed away last year on a four-wheeler, taking his four-wheeler out on early ice. So I would say that it's not out of bounds for anybody. Be careful out there. That's why I personally hate ice fishing. It's dangerous. It's not safe. But at the same time, I feel like, you guys know how Cat gets 9 lives. I feel like I've over-exacerbated those 9 lives. I'm like going on life 27 right now. And so I really don't want to keep on kicking the can down the road. I feel like I do that enough when I'm out open water fishing and deciding to go out in 40-mile-per-hour winds. So there's that. Needless to say, our south end of the lake, so we're talking Isle Bay, Walk-On Bay. I don't even know if people actually fish in Isle Bay, but I would say all the resorts on that southeast end of the lake and then your south ends of the lake, they definitely have been letting trucks out. Now, I don't know how that's going to look come this weekend because it does look like we do have a warm front coming in. So I don't know what that means, but it could be good. It could be bad. Typically, in general, guys, if you guys just look at the weather, you'll know when the lake's going to be making ice and when the cracks are going to want to start to pull apart. If you guys think of it this way, ice expands and contracts. Warm weather will make that ice start to disintegrate, and cold weather will make it expand. So just keep that in mind. Look at your weather and kind of go from there. You know what I mean? It sounds like a lot of places are getting their sleeper houses out, and a lot of places are starting to let half-ton pickups out. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens once you are able to get vehicles out there, because right now the fishing has been absolutely fantastic out there, in my mind, anyways. And I think that there's definitely mixed reports going on, but some of the guys that I've been talking to, the fishing's been fire out there. So it sounds like, as far as my experience goes for fishing walleye, I would say this much right now. I'll be the first to say this. When it comes to walleye, and even perch, color is everything, dude. And you guys can I haven't walleye fished, like designated walleye fish, for a really long time, outside of just a couple days ago. I did go walleye fishing a few days ago. That was my first time on the ice in a very, 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 very freaking long time. Outside of that, man, I haven't done it in a while, but that doesn't mean that you guys can't just take what I'm saying as credible information, because I do kind of know what I'm talking about. So I would say this much: if you're going out to the pond right now and you are looking for the early afternoon bite, I think anywhere between that 20, 22 foot range should get you some bites. Now, as far as I know, there's not a ton of roads that are accessing the mud right now, but I haven't been down there in a few days, so I'm not positive on this. Anybody can comment down below if you guys have some different info to add to that. I don't know. We could have some roads going out to the mud by now. I don't know. Garrison Sports did say that they were going to start to get out there. I'm going to pull this up really quick just to make sure. We are finding 11, 14 inches of ice as of today. We have bridged. Okay. So not yet. We are able to get the Wheeler Bridge over to the heave and now open to the mud for ATV, or side-by-sides, and snowmobiles. So, whoa, I messed that up. So yes, you can go out to the mud. It looks like via ATV, side-by-side, and snowmobile. So I'll tell you guys this much right now. When I used to go out to the pond all the time, that was literally the best, man. That was literally the best. When we could get out to the mud first. And I don't know if anybody's watched the old school show In Depth Outdoors. That was probably James Holst. I forget the other dude's name, but James Holst was like the host of the show. And that dude, I would tune in every morning, Saturday or Sunday morning, I think it was, at whatever time, to check out what he was doing. And those guys always were on the deal first. And that's what makes the biggest difference. So for example, if you're one of the first groups that gets out to that mud flat, or out to the mud flats, and you're running an ATV or snowmobile, and you can get out there before the masses do, guys, it makes such a big freaking difference how many fish you actually catch, because those fish haven't been sitting getting beat on. That makes a big difference to me. Makes a big difference to everybody anyways. When you get out there, you can definitely tell. It's just like smallmouth fishing. You can tell when these fish have been around baits. You can tell when they've been hammered on, because they just don't bite as good. That's when you get a lot of you're dropping down. Fish comes up, follows it, goes back down, comes back up, follows it, comes back down. So, you get a lot of that. And I think, back in the day when we would go out doing this all the time, early ice, and we would be the first ones out on the mud flats, that's when we would have, in this, granted, the walleye populations were definitely different back then, but I would say that, dude, we got them so good. I mean, so good, bro. Like 30, 50 fish days, which is awesome. And then on top of that, you add the trophy potential out there. I've caught so many between 27 and 29 inches out there ice fishing. And you guys, here's a funny side note is that out of all the years that I was trying to get a 30-incher out there, targeting them, I never did get one. I caught my biggest walleye, smallmouth fishing. I caught on the football jig. That's right, with the football jig. Like they were wintering during the time, but it was definitely a thing. So, anyways, that was a side note. Keep on going. Be the first ones to get out there. If you got a snowmobile or a four-wheeler, obviously don't be going at night. Go during the daytime when you guys can visibly see the cracks and everything like that. But get your asses out there. Go catch them. Dude, for real, there's going to be a really good bite out there. And the parts to focus on, to me, like one of the things that I did a lot when I was out there is I would try to get around the mud flats that had nobody on them, kind of. Being around people seems to be the biggest difference maker when it comes to ice fishing. If you can get out away from the crowds, that makes all the difference in the world. And that sounds like common sense. I know, sounds like common sense, but the problem is that if that was so much common sense, how come I go out there and I see groups of 20 houses together? So you go out and you go on a mud flat and say you get on an inside turn and there's 20 houses on it, do not be 21. Get out of there. Go find a different place. Anybody that's fishing with you is going to thank you for it later, especially if you have your wife and kids with you or even just your kids. Everybody knows that taking kids fishing, if they're not catching them, this can get annoying super, 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 super fast, right? This can turn into an inner battle between you and the fam if you're not catching them. And all of a sudden the kids start getting into shit and they're being rambunctious. Let's just avoid all that and get you guys on a spot that you're actually going to catch them. So get out, get away from people. It's going to increase your odds big time. And I think that you guys would be way happier getting away from all these people. So that is my best advice. And then the next thing is set lines, man. Set lines, as far as I'm concerned, have been doing most of the damage from the people that I've been talking to. Of course, a jigging spoon is way funner to catch them with. But the set lines seem to be doing pretty well. The colors that I've been seeing work the best are gold and perch pattern. But as far as walleye fishing goes, man, it always changes. And with walleye especially, I don't think, as far as walleye go, this is the biggest differentiator for me anyways, is that color makes probably the biggest difference with them little bastards. And I haven't figured out why. It's probably because they can see so good. I don't know. Did I just make that up? Can they really see good? I would just assume. But anyways, it's probably because they can see so good because some days it's gold, some days it's purple, some days it's pinks, right? It always changes. So I would say with walleye fishing, definitely make sure that you are constantly toying around with your setups, toying around with the different colors you're using, and sizes do matter a little bit. So definitely toy around with that and keep on interchanging stuff so that you can kind of test and see what's working, because, every now and then I'm seeing that the colors are interchanging between the pinks and the golds and the perch colors. Those are probably the three top ones. And then obviously maybe silver or something like that. Now, I did talk to a guy that absolutely cracked them on the old school chrome and purple Swedish pimple with waxies tipped on it. I'm a big tipping guy. Like, I like taking the jigging spoons and putting like a minnow head on it or a wax worm on it or a few wax worms on it. I think that that's super, super effective. But I mean, a rip and wrap, a jig and wrap, these are great baits to call them in, get them near your set lines. And then from there, it gets better and better and better, right? So you just got to call the fish in. And then obviously, if you're using scope, that's the smartest thing to do, man. Just punch a hole, drop your scope down. I would say put it in forward mode, 100 feet out, and start scanning around for them. And then you have your homie go punch holes for you. That's probably, to me, one of the ways that you can be effective. Cover some water. When I fish the mud a lot, covering water was key. Oftentimes, I just would set up my fish house and punch one hole inside of it, but that would just be kind of my chilling area for when I got cold. For the most part, though, I would be out just running around, running all these holes around, because these fish move quite a bit. And that can be kind of the deal, is being able to be mobile and cover water and be able to punch holes to different places and try a big proximity out, right? Bro, that's probably my favorite way to ice fish. When I used to ice fish a lot, that was my deal, was hole hopping. I could never really sit in one place for a really, really long time. So as far as success goes, if you guys want success, that's probably the best way to do it. I'm getting too old now. I would rather just, and if anybody watching has got an ice castle and you got cold beer and you want me to come out, definitely send me a DM. I can't say that I will for sure come, but I mean, I probably would, man. I would probably come because I'm down to chill and be like comfortable and not be out going up and down off my knees, running around the ice trying to catch them. Just not my thing. So, as far as the mud flats go, definitely get out there before everybody does come out, and you will be very happy. In about a month from now, I would guess that once we start seeing the freezing weather and it starts coming in consistently, and pickups can go out of these resorts, that's when you're going to see so much saturation out there that it's going to be tough to get bit. So get out there before that happens. One thing, a little off topic, is Red Lake, man. Red Lake is a very good example because I think they just started letting trucks out to Center Bar. That's a good example. Dude, same story as Mille Lacs. Back in the day, we used to get out there first, man. We would get out to Center Bar. We'd be one of the first groups to get out there. And I mean, I'm talking 70 to 100 fish days pretty frequently. There's one time me and my buddy Brandon went out there and we went out to this deal. It's a little hump out there. And dude, the amount of fish that we caught from the time we got there until the very next, till like 3 a.m, was unreal. We actually had to reel up the freaking rattle reels, man. That's how many we caught them. So, or that's how many we caught. So, getting places first, staying away from people. I know I just said that, but those are definitely key. You have to do that in order to see any remote kind of success. So, yeah, I just don't, I don't really do, sorry, I'm looking at this live chat too. So as far as like the pike go out there, I strongly encourage people to look at these DNR rules and not just be talking to people about the spearing, because I have heard some of the craziest shit in the past few days. I had one guy tell me the DNR made a statement that you can get a whoopsies. I was like, what's a whoopsies? He says, bro, if you get one just a little bit over, it's okay. They'll cut you a break, but you only get one. And I said, dude, well, that's great, but like, how do they know if it's your first one or not? How would they know if you're lying? Like, how do they qualify that as, credible? And he just said, I don't know. And so I doubt that that's true, but that is a rumor that I've heard. And guys, I don't know if you want to believe that or not, but I would definitely check in. I don't spear for pike. I could give a shit less. But for anybody that is spearing, what's up, Loki? The co-host just got here. He's late. For anybody that is spearing, I'm telling you right now, don't just take that type of talk for, don't take that type of talk as gospel, because you might get a ticket from the DNR. And I don't think, if I was a game warden and someone tried passing that off as an excuse of why they had a fish that was over, I would literally, I don't know. I feel like I should strip your fishing license for life and maybe make you take a class called Common Sense. I don't know. That's just me. It looks like hunters. It looks like Hunters or Needy's Resort over on the east side. It looks like they're saying that a new crack has opened up past on the North Road that's ruined their access, but they're still allowing four-wheelers and side-by-sides, which is pretty cool. And then I have talked to a few guys over from that place over on the east side too as well. Guys that have been fishing up on, lakeside, flamingo, some of that stuff, bite's been pretty good, it sounds like. And, as far as the perch fishing goes, I get that asked a lot when I'm at the bait store. What about the perch fishing? That's a mud flat deal. To get the really good ones, you're going to want to get out to the mud. Those fish are definitely feeding on bugs. They're feeding on all sorts of stuff. So you do want to be out in the mud for those perch. And I think I prefaced this last time on my last live stream, but guys, keep them things. They do have a special limit this year. I think it's 5 a piece. I don't know how much I agree with that or not. Fish have a really looky. Come here. Fish have a very or perch have a very short lifespan. I think it's a 4-year lifespan, 5-year lifespan. So I don't know if 20 perch is appropriate, but I definitely, that's definitely not appropriate. That's overkill. But I don't know if 5's enough. 10 is probably where it's at. But anyways, you go out there, definitely, especially if you're catching them deep, man, after you get your limit, stop. Don't keep on catching them. You're going to kill most of them that you're bringing up, especially if you're using a heavier rod. You're just going to reel them up and you're going to be crazy. And you're going to come out, their eyes are going to be popping out of their head that much, and they're going to be fucking dead. And so if you are going out and getting a limit, guys, just try your hardest to just say, you know what, I'm not going to fish anymore. Let's go hunt walleye down. And you'll be doing the fishery a favor. And I'm sure that those jumbaruskos will appreciate that. They'll appreciate that big time. Now, as far as getting back to that pike spearing thing, if anybody knows if that's true or not, comment down below. If you're on Bassin Time on Facebook or if you're on YouTube, definitely comment down below if you can verify that information as being credible. I doubt that it is, but I'd be interested to see if it was, because that is some shit that I have never heard before. Oh, whoopsies. No, bro. That does not sound true at all. So, come on down to the bait store, see me, and we'll say what's up. And hopefully you guys can get out and whack them, get your guys' limit. Smallmouth fishing. So this is the part that I'm excited for. Obviously, I was kind of excited about the ice fishing stuff. I'm trying to think. Should we start with smallmouth fishing, or should I tell you guys about the little disaster we had the other night? I could tell the story about the disaster. I think that'd probably be a good idea. So essentially, this is what happened, guys. So I go out with my friend Brandon. Okay. And, I don't know where he's at for ice fishing. He's not near as experienced as what he made it sound, but we had a plan. We had a very structured plan. We should have executed that plan. Odds are, if we would have executed properly, we would have never been in the situation that we were in. But basically, we went out of the north access, and we were going to do an overnight camping trip. And I was going to live stream too, until I seen what the situation was, which it was not good. It was not good at all. So we go out and we get everything set up. He's got a little a blue clam heater or something like that, right? We get everything set up. We're sitting there fishing. Now, mind you, it was kind of a good situation at first until we figured out that his 20-pounder did not have the right adapter to the heater. So we decided, guys, to just use 1-pounders for the night. He actually called up the Holiday gas station and decided to go up there and run 1-pounders all night long in his buddy heater. And what happened was, of course, the buddy heater quit fucking working, right? Of course it quits working at 3 a.m. too, and the pilot light would not light back up. The whole way to the gas station, I pleaded with him, dude, we need to go home. This is a dead fucking mission. This needs to be over. I don't want to do this anymore. And he kept on saying, dude, this is an adventure. And I'm trying to say, I'm 40 years old. I've had enough adventures. I've had the worst adventures ever. No need for that shit for this guy. I have no aspirations of going on any types of adventures anymore. But of course, I got pulled into it. It was good stuff. Sucked. So go on this adventure on the lake at 3 in the morning, trying to get back to shore. I think we almost died one time for sure, but that's it. We only had one close call, but that's why I don't like ice fishing. I definitely don't like navigating ice at nighttime, especially when I'm not out there a ton to really understand the ice conditions for what they were. Moral of the story was that I kind of told him, like, the only reason why I stayed here with you tonight is because I didn't want to wake up the next morning and read from, you know, Miramar or Garrison Sports that they found someone freaking dead underneath the ice the next day. That's what I was really trying to avoid. I was like, shit, man, I don't want to bail on you. So what do? You be a broham and you stay out and you hang out, right? And you just suffer with your buddy. That's what a good friend does. Now, I don't know if that was me being a good friend or me just trying to avoid guilt because I really thought that he would die. That's not funny, but it's fucking true. I really thought that this dude was going to die out there if I left him out there by himself. Just by some of the stuff that he was saying, I literally thought he was going to kill himself out there. So I just can't live with that. I ended up staying out there. Maybe I'm a good friend, maybe I'm not, but I did stay out there with him and we did make it home okay. I ended up going to work at 3 o'clock with 0 hours of sleep. That was fun. Outside of that, we had a great effing time. Outside of all of that, right? Great time. So that was the story for that. I don't know. I hate ice fishing, kind of. It'll be fun once I know somebody that gets a castle or a big fish house out there that I can go hang out with. Then tables have turned and I can begin to have fun a little bit, just a little. So smallmouth fishing. I know this much. I'm really I'm tuned up for this, dude. I mean, granted, the ice isn't gonna come off right away. Like I'm hoping that it comes off in early April. But if we get if you guys are using extensions on the ice, if you guys are using extensions on the ice this year at all, I don't think that we'll have ice out until late April again. But I could be wrong. I'm hoping that it happens late. I'm hoping it happens like mid-April, early April. We'll see what happens. It's a big lake. It gets a lot of ice, but I'm really hoping that happens. And once that ice comes off the water, the fishing is going to be just, dude, it's going to be fun. So here's where we're going with this. All right. When we get out there in April, I think that the biggest thing that we're going to have to do is refine the fish again, but they're not going to be far from where we left them this last November. I think they're going to be pretty close in the areas, and I do plan on doing some smallmouth fishing when I do go out there to do some ice fishing this year. I'm going to be bringing a camera with me. So gonna go out and do gonna go out and bring a camera with me. Gonna check some of the areas that I was finding them in November, and hopefully I find some stuff and we're able to catch a few through the ice. We'll see what happens. For anybody else, leave them alone this winter. They're only for me. Like, you guys go chase your freaking walleyes and go do your little deal with the walleyes and the perch. You guys go have fun. Go mess them things up. But for me personally, no, I'm going to be going smallmouth fishing. So you leave my smallmouth alone. If you're watching this and you're all about this ice fishing shit, stay away from my damn smallmouth. They're mine. They're mine. I don't want you guys near them. And I'm not kidding either. I'm being dead serious. Can't you see? Serious. I'm gonna go out there. I'm gonna try and find them. I'm gonna see if I can find a few, maybe catch a few through the ice, get some cool content. Maybe we'll even shoot a video. and hopefully run up on them things. It should be pretty fun. But once we get into early November, what kind of baits are we going to be using? What kind of places are we going to be looking at for them at? So, um, definitely depending on the weather, right? That's going to be the biggest thing. Now, this November, I did see a lot of things that I learned a lot this November that I didn't really know the prior November before. And part of that is because a few of the areas that I've been using for years and years and years and years, they just weren't there anymore. They quit using those areas, or they got to them super, super, super early, which was not typical. So, you know, it's going to vary this year. And I think that you got to play it day by day. And as the water temp gets warmer and warmer and warmer, it's going to push the location around with these fish. So let's start off with between 40 and 44 degrees. Do I think that location's going to make a gigantic difference? I think that they'll be about in those same depth ranges, anywhere from 18 to 26 feet of water. I did find a lot of fish shallow, but those shallow fish, it was very situational. It was very situational. It was very much a weather condition related situation. But I did find fish ultra shallow too in November, like late November when the water temp was dropping. But we're talking clear, calm skies, no wind, in fishing between 13 and 16 feet of water. I found a massive wad of them. But I do think that there's a specific rotation going on with the fish, and I can kind of elaborate on that. So when we look at the thing like the spawn, when we look at the spawn, there's multiple waves coming and going, right? You got your first wave, and then after that, like another group pulls up, and the areas that you saw beds in, let's just say you go there one week and there's fish up there, and then they kind of disappear, and then you come back the next week and there's even more fish up there, and it looks like they're new fish. They're not the same fish. I think that fall, I think that kind of coincides with that same logic, which is, there's multiple waves that are going to be pulling up and then pushing down into the shallow or into the deeper water for wintering. When they pull up shallow, I think that they're actually feeding, preparing to go down into that deeper water and kind of just chill. That's something that is just a theory of mine. And that's based off of just fishing out there day after day after day after day after day when the water temp is going from high 40s, like 49 degrees, and going down into, the upper 30s. So, that's something that I've thought about quite a bit. Just this multiple waves thing. So if it works that way with the spawn, there's a really good chance that it's going to work that way with fall. Okay. Now, why is that important right now? I'll tell you. So when we get into the very beginning of the season, I'm assuming that, and by the beginning, I mean as soon as that ice comes off the freaking water, and I know this already, I'm gonna be dealing. I'm gonna be dealing with a lot of you guys, and you guys. I'm gonna be dealing with you guys being out there competing. So, the very beginning of the season, I think that these fish, depending on what the weather is doing, if we are on the uptick of a warm swing, we're going to start to see fish coming out of those wintering areas, but it's going to be in stages. I bet that if you get there right away, dude, there's probably so many down there. So many of them things down there. What's going on, dude? Someone's not happy. There'll be a bunch of them down there. But as the time progresses, that number is obviously going to shrink. There's going to be more fish that are going to start to stage. So we'll say this much: 22, 26 feet of water. If you were catching fish in between those depth range, that's where you're going to want to start. That 22 to 26 foot range, even 20 to 26 foot range. And as that water temp gets warmer and your weather gets warmer too as well, that's when you're going to start to see more fish in that mid depth range, that 12 to 16 foot range. They're going to be staging, excuse me. they're going to be staging to go up and push up shallow. Now, you know, the waves is the big thing, and you'll be able to tell. And since we get to fish so early this year, I'm assuming that we'll be able to track that very closely, you know, and I'll be out there every day. I'll be out there quite a bit at the beginning of the year. I got guide trips that I'm going to be running. I'll be out there quite a bit, and I'll be giving you guys some reports and stuff like that. But, you know, I would say this much. When we start off, one of the best baits that I had the best luck with in this uber cool weather is a paddle tail swim bait. And I'll show you guys exactly which one I'm using. Now, I will say this. It's kind of funny because I didn't. So if anybody knows Brian Risegraph, Punch Fishing. So actually, was it him? I'm calling him out. And I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure I seen it and he deleted the comment. It was either him or it was that Joey Parsons kid, that kid that sells all that used shit online on bass heads. But basically, they both tried to call me out, right? Joey asked me, what do I think the negatives of NetBait and Halo rods are? And then Brian actually tried saying, oh, this is a podcast that's sponsored by NetBaits or powered by BaitFuel. It's like, yeah, I mean, I get where you're coming from, but if you guys have ever tuned into No More Secrets, of course I plug my sponsor stuff. I use this shit. I don't not. But if you guys watch No More Secrets, I talk about other shit all the time that's not NetBait or Halo or stuff like that. So I really don't know where they were going with that, but I'm calling them back and I'm saying, dude, I show all sorts of shit. I don't just I'm not just showing you guys this stuff because my sponsors made me. Nobody makes me do anything. So I'll let you guys check out this swim bait. Now, I'm not going to say which one this reminds me of. I don't want to make anybody mad. Okay. Actually, I could give a shit if you get mad or not. So anyways, though, this reminds me of one of my favorite swim baits that I used to throw quite a bit. And I still throw it quite a bit, but check that thing out, dude. Look at that little guy. Should I do the whole, maybe that does work. What do you guys think? Do you guys think that you see it better like that? Or if I just hold it up there like a human being? I don't know. Anyways, though. So this swim bait right here is one of my favorite cold water swim baits. Really narrow tail wig. And I think that that's going to be pretty pertinent for, this time of year. In this time of year, I mean early spring when it's super cold. I think that that's super pertinent during that time of year. This is the NetBait Blip Minnow, and it's a 3-inch minnow. It's got really minimal paddle wake, and it is badass. I threw this a lot early spring, and I also threw it quite a bit in the late fall. And when we're talking about the bait of choice, and I use this bait basically from August until the end of August until pretty much mid-November, like the first week in November, which is the minnow. Surprise. Okay. So as you guys know, the prop duster came out in 6 inches. 6 of them. 6 inches. Look at this. Look at that thing, dude. That thing's badass. So 6-inch bait. Now, one thing that's funny is that some people have told me that the body is kind of a little bit stiffer. And to be honest, I was a little bit worried about that at first till I understood exactly how this thing moves in the water. That does not make a difference, especially in the water. Look at that tail. I barely even got to move it. And look at how much that tail moves. Now, I threw this quite a bit at the end of the season. And what I noticed was as the water got colder, that little guy started to work better and better and better. So, and this is a 3-inch prop duster or like a 3.5-inch prop duster. This right here, that right there is a 6.5. So, sorry, not 6.5. It's a 6. What a dumbass. I should know this stuff a little better. I have no prompter. We do not have the producer. Well, we do have my producer. He's right there. He's my producer / co-host, Loki. He kind of slacked on me today. My favorite color is the KM2. And I'll show you guys this. This is perfect for on a clear day. All right. Perfect for on a clear day. Check that out. Now I know you can't, it's going to be harder to see. It's almost transparent. Like it's a semi-transparent minnow. There it is. That's a little bit better. Perfect for on those cloudy days. Dude, that thing absolutely fucks them up. Like just totally puts them in the most vulnerable position when they get on that thing and you start shaking it even harder. Now, one thing that I noticed with the minnow bait, and I'll clue you guys in on something, is that it is the best bait. It's the fastest bait to predict fish behavior or to understand fish behavior that you can use, in my opinion. It's different than an A-rig. An A-rig, you kind of already know. How do I explain this? I gotta think about this. So I would say that the minnow is one of those things where it's the fastest bait to predict fish behavior, for one. For two, it's not the A-rig. The A-rig, any fish will follow that thing. And you can basically only fish it one way. Like it's like after you cast it out, you got to reel that thing back in and it's just a straight retrieve. And yeah, you could slow it down and then speed it up to make the blades kind of stop and go kind of. You could do some shit like that. That could work. Another thing you could do too is you could like bounce it off bottom, I guess. I mean, I don't know if that's smart though. You probably lose your $28 rig. But one thing that I found with the minnow bait that's super effective is just the idea that you can troubleshoot or you can predict, you can figure out fish behavior and what their mood is pretty easily by just having that minnow like in your hand at all times. Now, another thing that I found with it that I don't know if a lot of people do this or not is I think that, I've dropped that thing. Like I'll throw it out and I'll be swimming it. And if they don't if they're not hot on it, dude, I just literally just let it fall and I just let it sit there. And then I take my trolling motor and I turn it the other way and I just let it sit there for like a good 8 seconds or so. Sometimes, guys, what you'll see is you'll see your line just go pop and freaking you got a fish on. And then, probably 70 or 80% of the time it doesn't do shit. It just doesn't work. So that's one thing that I can do with that bait. Now just use your imagination. How many different things I can do to pick up fish, making that same cast, right? What I find is when that fish gets really hot on that bait, slowing it down is the absolute biggest mistake that you can make. You need to work that thing even faster. From watching hours and I'd say thousands of hours of forward-facing sonar, from seeing it that frequently, what I'd say is I don't think that you're going to outreel those fish. I think those fish can get in that bait at any time that they want to. So definitely don't think that you can overreel them or outreel them because that's not going to happen. They live in that water. They're super, super fast. They adapt fast. So like as soon as that bait starts moving faster, especially if they're on it, like I'm saying, if you see them following it like this, like that, if you see them following it like that, there's a really good chance that all you got to do is just work it that much harder. They will freaking gun for it and they will eat it. Now, my next favorite minnow, and I was throwing this a lot. I threw this a lot when I would try to blind stroll. And if you guys want to know about blind strolling, I have a YouTube video that's like, I think it's Jig and Minnow 101. I can't remember what the title of it's called, but definitely check this video out. I talk about it I go into depth with this, and there's going to be a second part to it. Stay tuned next year in July because I kind of got behind. Actually, I think that footage accidentally got deleted. It was a mistake, but it was a mistake. Anyways, though, My favorite minnow for blind strolling, okay? Blind strolling is going to be this guy. Do you guys know what bait that is? One's in the chats if you know what this one is. One in the chats if you know what this one is, dude. I'll tell you what it is. Oh, it's got the stink on it too. So this bait right here, it's not the Shakamata shad. It's not that. This is what it is. That is probably one of my favorite minnows. All right. So Megabass Sling Shad. You know, one thing that's unique about that bait is it's very, very, very consistent. Like super consistent. Do you guys know what I'm talking about when I say that? I'll explain. So some companies just don't have the most consistent, I would say, density of the plastic, or if you will, yeah, density. Like not all of them weigh the same sometimes even. You can just it's not I'm not weighing every single plastic individually, but I'm saying they swim differently. Like you can see it in the water. And the only thing that causes the plastics to swim differently is density, right? So when we're talking plastic density, you know, I would say that Megabass has an extremely, extremely high consistency rate as far as how these baits swim. Every bait swims the same, which gives me the confidence to blind stroll it. Now, if you guys don't know what blind strolling is, essentially it's this. I cast that thing out as far as I can get it, and I literally wait till it hits bottom, and I just bottom stroll it. I literally just shake it off the bottom and let it hit bottom. I don't scope. I just let it rip. Now, when is the situation to do that? Typically for me, man, it's when I can't scope. It's when it gets too windy that I can't keep my foot on the pedal to be able to sit there and zoom back and forth. Now, I will say this. I'll get a little off topic here. Let me get on a little rant mode, because what is a live stream without Sam ranting? So here it is. Guys, if you want to become a more effective live scoper, you need to learn how to keep your damn foot on the pedal so you can follow every single one of your casts. Every single one of your casts. If you can do it, you should be scoping the cast, because there are so many times that I've seen this year where I would make this long ass cast and one would just, I couldn't see him off the bottom, like scoping around. I never seen a damn thing. But then I threw my bait next to structure and swam it over it, and one just came shooting right up out of the top, or shooting right off the bottom, and all of a sudden I get bit, right? So thanks for tuning in. Who is that? DB Douglas. Thanks for tuning in, boss. I appreciate you. Hey, I haven't even checked the shot or check the chat. I love fishing. What's up, man? Yes, I was going to be on the ice. I wish I was. The Cardinal Wave. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas, man. Thanks for tuning in. And DB Douglas, man. Thanks for tuning in. I honestly, guys, you guys have your tag names on here, so I can't tell like what your first names are. I can't see that far over on my Bassin the Time stream, but thank you guys for tuning in. I really appreciate it. But yeah, so I would say that blind strolling technique super effective. I throw it out there when I can't keep my foot on the pedal and it's really windy. Oh yeah, that's what I was talking about. So keeping your foot on the pedal is key. If you want to be a really good scoper, if you want to know what you're missing out on, keeping your foot on that pedal is key. And you know, man, I'm not trying to talk too much shit, but I would say this much. The guys that struggle with it the most are going to be your guys that are a little overweight, that have like hip problems and lower body problems, right? Guys, go. I will post on my Instagram. What's up, good cell? I will post on my Instagram a good leg workout. All right. Now I'm just a little fucking guy, right? I'm tiny. I'm 5'7". I'm 5'7" and Asian. 146 pounds or something like that. I'm little. I quit doing steroids years ago. So, you know, just kidding. But quit doing that years ago. So, it's easy for me. It's easy for me to be able to stand. Now, if you're one of those bigger dudes, maybe a good idea is to get yourself one of them cheater butt seats or whatever and just sit your ass down, because I'm telling you right now, the importance of that, just being able to see every single one of your casts and keeping your foot on the trolling motor pedal, it's so key, dude. You just learn, think about the data that you're getting on every single cast. You learn something literally every single one of them. You cast out, you watch that bait, see a fish come up. That's pattern recognition. Now you're starting to figure out, oh, like that fish did this. And then all of a sudden, maybe you get into another area and those fish are biting. And you kind of notice that, like, oh, maybe this changed. Maybe the wind's different over here. Maybe there's birds over here that are chasing bait around. You just don't know. But with that live scope and being able to track every single one of your casts, that used to annoy me, to be honest with you. That used to annoy me big time when, like, I would fish with somebody and they would prioritize, like, seeing every cast over anything else. That bothered the shit out of me. But now that I've seen it done effectively, and I've done it effectively for a full season, I understand the importance behind it, because the amount of data that you get when you do that, and it helps you every single cast afterwards. Just imagine this, like, for us old school guys, right? Us old fuckers out there, we understand one thing. We understand fishing without scope. Now, before, let's just imagine that 12 years ago, we were standing on the boat with each other and we were saying, bro, wouldn't it be sick if we knew what those fish were doing on every single cast? I'm sure I've had a conversation or two that was close to that. And then when we when we go forward in time to now we have the ability to do it. The only problem is it's kind of hard. It's harder than what it looks. And so, that's kind of what negates the whole scope debate. Is it easy? Is it not? Bro, watch some of these old dudes scope one time. They suck at it. I'm not talking about the Elite Series guys. I don't get to see those guys a lot. I'm just saying, like, some of the older dudes, them scoping is embarrassing, bro. Just embarrassing, dude. They're not even using it the way that they should. And so when they sit there and bash live scope so bad, you're like, well, yeah, bro, it's because you suck. That's why. So there's something to be said about that too as well. Keep your foot on the trolling motor, keep your foot on the foot pedal, scope around, and understand that if you're in the wind, the boat moves. And obviously you saw the fish on scope, you cast at it. You can't just forget about life after that and just be looking forward or looking down at your screen. Take your foot off the pedal and just start moving your minnow around and think that you're going to see it all the way back to the boat. It does not work like that. So just something, it's a little life advice, not life advice, live scope advice, a little bit of live scope advice. Okay. Now, if you guys look on my Instagram, I do, and maybe even my personal Facebook page, I do post some workouts that I do at the gym. Those workouts are literally so that I can fish better. All right. I know, like, I guess that's not the only reason why. I like being healthy. I like being handsome. That's important to me, but it's so that I can fish better, dude. It's so that I can stand on my live scope and still be able to move around and balance around and not be too fat to be able to fucking keep myself up. Like, that's key to me. That's big. That's a big deal to me, is to be able to stand on that thing and not get fatigued. Also, your lower body, right? You're putting all that pressure. So being able to switch between your left and right foot is super key, because what's going to happen is you'll start to get problems in your ass cheeks, right? Because you're going to try to compensate that weight. Then once your ass cheeks starts hurting, then you're going to put more weight onto the ball of your foot, or it doesn't matter. Like, you're just going to compensate for whatever hurts, and it's going to wind up injuring shit even worse as time goes on. So think of that. Get better at it. We can all do better. We can all do better. So speaking of doing better, so I'll tell you guys something. My brother, he drives he drives truck, right? So he drives truck and delivers tires. Dude has the worst road rage ever. What's up with that? How do you why would you be a delivery driver if you have road rage problems, right? But his new saying is do better. So whenever someone pisses him off, he honks the horn and he just says, do better. I don't blame him because he's driving a company truck, so he can't really like swear at people. He doesn't want to be giving people the bird either. So he's just kind of like, he came up with that saying all on his own. At least he says, all right? Don't know if he's lying or not, but I will say, folks, I will say this, do better. All right. My next minnow of choice that I like to use a lot is the Last Ace 1285 or 128. Okay. Now, I will say this. This bait holds up really, really well. The durability on it is exceptional. It works really well. It has great action, and it looks just like that. Now, I believe, let's just double check. 128 millimeter. Yeah, but is it? So this is either a 5 or a 6-inch bait. I believe it would be a 5-inch bait. That is probably another minnow that's more of a blind stroller for me. It's really, really consistent. And yeah, it's really, really consistent. It has really good action. I'll blind stroll with it. Now, I don't blind stroll with all minnows because the action's just not right and it's not suitable for it. And I'll elaborate a little bit more on that maybe a different time. But that's just a whole nother can of worms that we don't need to open up right now because we're running out of a little bit of time. Now, as the season progresses, I wanted to bring out one of my favorite creature baits that we were throwing. Now, all the rage was fuzzy baits last year. If you've been going out to the pond as long as me, and you guys have been fishing it during the summertime, you guys would know we've been doing this for a few years now. We've been sticking jig skirts and just about everything that we could find. And one of my favorite fuzzy baits that I've been throwing is the Raid 2-way. This is my favorite color, bro. It's called Tanaga. Tanaga EBI. Okay? Check this shit out, dude. Bro, this is seriously. Look at this shit. Oh, man, we can't see the color very good, bro. Look at that. That's dope as shit, dude. So that's one of my favorite colors, and it looks awesome underwater. Yeah, Tanaga. Definitely one of my faves, man. For sure. Gotta get on that. I didn't even want to show you guys that, but now this fuzzy bait shit is not a secret anymore. So get some. There you go. You guys got a little secret. And guess what? Here's the other thing too. I did put this on No More Secrets. Does fuzzy baits really catch them? I did put that on the show, No More Secrets, and you know, it is what it is. You guys could use it or you guys could not, but that wasn't hype. I was really catching them with that, and you were missing out big time if you weren't using it. So, that's about it, fellas. We've been going for an hour now. This what's terrible. I could fucking do this for 2 hours straight very easily. It goes by really, really fast. I have a good time doing this. And just to answer a lot of the messages that I've been getting DMs on Instagram and private messages on Facebook that I need to have all these different people on. And I didn't reply to about 80% of them. And here's why. Okay. It's not because I'm trying to be rude. It's because I just don't feel like having the same conversation over and over and over again. So let me reiterate, because I'm sure you guys are probably watching that send me those messages. Number one, it's hard to get people to come on the show. It just is. I need to have like 550,000 followers, and there needs to be a draw for the guests that I'm going to have on. Now, I'll say this much right now. When me and Tom and Mike did Bassin the time, we didn't have to have that. We had some great guests on. I think I had Gussie. So we had Gussie, Jeff Gusson on. We had Chris Groh from Illinois on. He's a badass dude. Ken Ma from the West Coast. If you guys don't know who Ken Ma is, he's a hammer from California. We never had Oliver on. Who else do we have? Bradley Hallman, Bradley Hallman's a freaking dude. He's really good. It sucks that he left his career for family, which is totally understandable. God dang. Why am I drawing a blank? Josh Douglas. We had Josh Douglas on. You guys all know who that is. He's a Mille Lacs hammer, former Elite Series angler. Yeah, we had guests on, okay? We had guests on. We had some good guests on, but it's really hard to schedule people. And again, it's two things. Number one, it's hard to schedule people. It's hard to mix and match people's schedules. It's hard to get people to commit. And a lot of times too, guys, one thing that we didn't bring up very frequently, but one thing that happened was that we would get everything scheduled, get a guest to come on, and then all of a sudden, like a day before or an hour before the show, they text you and say, it's not going to work tonight. Can we do it tomorrow? That happened too. I got sick of that. And it's not that I'm like upset with anybody or anything like that. It's just easier this way for me to just come on, talk shit, and hang out with you guys for a couple hours or an hour, hour and a half or something like that. Just hang out with you guys and have a good time and then roll out. It's that simple. It's not that hard. So, yeah, man, I would say this much. Drop something in the chat below if you guys got topic ideas or anything that you guys want to cover. We are going to be jumping around a little bit as far as open water fishing and ice fishing goes this year, because I will be getting out a little bit. And I know I don't sound like that excited about it, but I promise you guys one thing right now. It definitely excites me to catch a smallmouth through the ice. I'll say that much right now. It excites me to catch a smallmouth through the ice. So anyways, this show, guys, was brought to you guys by Wides Appliances in Brainerd, Minnesota. So if you're from Brainerd and you guys know who my buddy Keith Wide is, Wides Appliances has been in his family ever since I knew him. You know, me and Keith went to middle school together. He's a great guy, likable guy. They do all the appliance work. Not all the appliance work, but they do appliance work here in the Brainerd Lakes area. They're a very well-known company. Support a local business. Don't support these other corporate businesses. They're shit. Their service is shit. Keith is super reasonable. They got new and used washer dryers, fridges, all kinds of stuff like that. He's a great guy. Just go in and support a great business, man. Located right on 13th Street. 13th and Oak Street. Yeah, if you own rental properties and you just need used washer and dryers on the fly, definitely hit him up. He's great for that. And he's one of my good friends from school. Like, I've known Keith really quick. No, should I tell him? Should I tell him some dirt on Keith? I better not. He's a business owner. It's honestly PG-13. It's really not that bad. Yeah, it's really not that bad. We didn't like do anything illegal or anything, but we definitely could have gotten some fucking trouble. Show is sponsored by Wides Appliances. It is also brought to you guys by NetBait. So thank you guys for tuning in. I had a great time tonight. Drop something in the comments below if you guys got anything that you guys want to talk about that maybe I could help you guys with, or that you guys want to see us talk about. I might be having a special guest. I know I talked all that shit about special guests or whatever. I might be having a special guest next week. And I'm hoping if I Love Fishing is still on, we might be on the ice next week. There's like a little chance we could be on the ice next week. It depends if one of my homies gets the house out or not, if we're going to be able to shoot it or not. So, yeah, thanks for tuning in, guys. Until next time, we'll be back.